Hey nerds, it's Sunday, September 8th, the 37th week of 2024, and I'm running down what's coming up this week, starting now. Welcome back to the Nerd Social. I'm Nathan. As always, if you want to jump ahead of the intro to see what's coming up on any day of this week, there are chapter links below. All right, let's get started. There's a lot coming up this week. Today, Sunday, we have Snowpiercer Episode 8 by Weeping Cross is the title. And the description is, the bridge is safe to cross and Big Alice pulls into New Eden. Leighton, Josie, and Liana sit stranded in the middle of nowhere, freezing to death when a masked soldier appears. There are only a couple more episodes in this season. Also, we have Emperor of Ocean Park, Episode 9, entitled Chapter 9. Tal and Maria struggled with the new information they've learned about their father's dealings. Still on the hunt for the arrangements, Tal sets a trap to draw out his adversaries. Also, Industry, Episode 5 of Season 3. After being summoned by the Government Select Committee, Robert worries he's become a pawn in a much larger battle between very powerful entities. Meanwhile, during the company's annual charity day, Sweet Pea shares a theory with Eric that could mark the beginning of the end of Farpoint, and Yasmin wonders if being vulnerable in a relationship is worth it. Today is also Star Trek Day. Paramount is dropping a bunch of free episodes on their YouTube channel and other places. From September 7th, which was yesterday, through September 13th, you can watch The Cage from the original series, Encounter at Farpoint, parts 1 and 2 from Star Trek The Next Generation, from Star Trek Voyager, Caretaker Part 1 and 2, from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, you can watch Emissary Part 1 and 2, from Star Trek Enterprise, you can watch Broken Bow Part 1 and 2, from Star Trek The Animated Series, you can watch the episode Beyond the Furthest Star, from Star Trek Strange New Worlds, you can watch Strange New Worlds, from Star Trek Lower Decks, you can watch Second Contact, from Star Trek Discovery, you can watch The Vulcan Hello, from Star Trek Picard, you can watch Remembrance, and they have a bunch of short tracks as well. The Girl Who Made the Stars, The Trouble with Edward, Ask Not, Runaway, In a Frame, and Docked, all posting from yesterday to the 13th. On Monday, we have a new episode of Futurama, episode 7 of season 12, called Planet Express. Hermes inherits a Jamaican coffee farm that holds the ruins of an ancient spaceship. There's also a movie coming out on VOD called Hidden Within. A woman returns home to Zimbabwe to visit her ill father. A string of local disappearances reveal a frightening secret he's been hiding. This trailer actually looked pretty interesting. All right, on Tuesday, we have Only Murders in the Building, episode 3 of season 4. Charles Oliver and Mabel begrudgingly pair off with new investigators, actors Eugene Levy, Zach Galifianakis, and Eva Longoria. So we have been reviewing and recapping these episodes, and we'll do that again this week. Also coming out on Tuesday on VOD and DVD is Despicable Me 4. Meet Gru, Lucy, Margot, Edith, and Angus welcome a new member to the family, Gru Jr., who is intent on tormenting his dad. Gru faces a new nemesis, Maxim Limal, and his girlfriend, Valentina. And the family is forced to go on the run. Another movie coming out on VOD on Tuesday is called The Grab. Investigative journalist uncovers the money, influence, and alarming rationale behind covert efforts to control the most vital resource on the planet, food. This is a documentary. Halloween Feast. When Angela Long, a former dancer, apparently descends into madness, her family tries to cope the best way they can. After an infamous dinner, their lives collectively spiral to new levels of chaos, including, but not limited to, a sadomasochistic power dynamic, a bloody endeavor where a dinosaur may or may not be present. Happy campers, blue-collar families escape for the summer to a seasonal waterfront trailer park. When their shabby Shangri-La is threatened by development, the residents of Inlet View face the inevitable and reveal the secrets to a rich life. There's another documentary. The Mob. After the death of its high-profile patriarch, the Zhao family seeks revenge as conflict between the new and old orders throws Shanghai into chaos. This trailer also looks really cool. It's like Warriors, which was on HBO and I think it's on Netflix now, but instead of the 1800s, it's set in the 20s. I think it's a Hong Kong film. Robot Dreams, the adventures and misfortunes of Dog and Robot in New York City during the 1980s. I think this movie actually won the Academy Award. Wineville, a woman who escaped her abusive father as a teen must return to settle the affairs of the family vineyard upon his death. She finds that the dark secrets she left behind have only festered and blackened over the decades, fermenting into violence and death. On Wednesday, we have a new episode of The Ark, Season 2, Episode 9, Cycles of Violence. Garnet has her work cut out for her when she attempts diplomacy with a long-standing enemy. New episode of Women in Blue. The episode title is Episode 8, and the episode title is Rosa, but there's no description yet for this episode. Episode 6 of Bad Monkey. The title is Yo, would you tell Miss Chase I still love her like crazy? And it might go on from there. The description is, in need of help, Yancy turns to Rogelio. Bonnie goes on the run. The Dragon Queen confronts Nick and Eve. New episode of Slow Horses, episode 2 of season 4. A stranger comes to town. A naive agent makes a discovery about the Westlake bomber. Lamb suspects that David knows more than he's letting on. Also have a movie coming to stars on Wednesday. Arthur the King, an adventure racer, adopts a stray dog named Arthur to join him in an epic endurance race. On Thursday, we have a new episode of Lord of the Rings of Power, episode 5 of season 2. We have been dropping reviews and breakdowns of these episodes. We were a little late this week, but we'll be on time this week. I have seen all the way through episode 8. I think Paula has seen most of them as well. So we'll post the reviews the day of. Reasonable Doubt, episode 5 of season 2. Guilty Until Proven Innocent. Jax confronts Chanel on her new theory about the case, while Corey reveals to the partners at the firm his frustrations with Jax. In the meantime, Terrence helps Lewis navigate a new problem. I haven't been mentioning this, but Kite Man has been debuting new episodes every Thursday, and actually the last episode of season 1 is on Thursday as well. This is actually a pretty good show. I've had screeners for the entire season. They don't have a title for this episode yet or a description, but you should check it out. If you like the Harley Quinn show, it's basically a follow-on for that. If you don't know what the Harley Quinn show is, it's basically just an irreverent and also bloody version of Harley Quinn, so it's in that same universe. On Friday, we have a new episode of Pachinko, season 2, episode 4, entitled Chapter 12. As new relationships blossom, a tragedy threatens to destroy everything. Sujin meets a close friend of Solomon's. Having a Netflix movie coming out called Uglies, in a future post-scarcity dystopia world in which everyone is considered an ugly, but then turned pretty by extreme cosmetic surgery when they reach the age of 16. It tells the story of a teenager, Tali Youngblood, who rebels against society's enforced conformity. If we get screeners for this, we will review this like other Netflix movies over the last month or so. Civil War is also coming to Max on Friday from earlier this year. Civil War is a 2024 dystopian thriller film written and directed by Alex Garland. It follows journalists traveling from New York City to Washington, D.C. during a civil war fought across the United States between an authoritarian federal government and several regional factions. Like I said, this will be on Max, and we did a review of this when this was in the theaters earlier this year. The link is above. Booger is another movie on VOD on Friday. After the death of her best friend Izzy, Anna focuses all her attention on Booger, the stray cat which she and Izzy took in. When Booger bites her, she begins to undergo a strange transformation. The Crow, which just came out, is on VOD on Friday as well. Soulmates Eric and Shelley are brutally murdered when the demons of Shelley's dark past catch up with them. Given the chance to save his love by sacrificing himself, Eric sets out to seek merciless revenge on their killers, traversing the worlds of the living and the dead to put the wrong things right in this modern reimagining of the 1994 A24 cult classic. Zombie Wedding, based on the hit interactive play, which premiered in 2015 on VOD on Friday as well. The first ever wedding between a human bride and a zombie groom. The human guests need to learn how to behave. WNN reporters cover the wedding while trying to get out alive. The 4:30 movie. Kevin Smith presents his most personal film to date with this coming-of-age story set in the summer of 1986 that follows three 16-year-old friends who spend their Saturdays sneaking into movies at the local Cineplex when one of the guys invites the girl of his dreams to see an R-rated film. All hilarity breaks loose as a self-important theater manager, played by Ken Jeong, and teen rivalries interfere with his best-laid plans. Justin Long, Rosario Dawson, Jason Biggs, and more contribute outrageous characters to this poignant comic Valentine to moviegoing and youth in the 1980s. The Killer's Game follows veteran assassin Joe Flood, who is diagnosed with a life-threatening illness and authorizes a kill on himself to avoid the pain that is destined to follow. After ordering the kill, he finds out that he was misdiagnosed and must then fend off the army of former colleagues trying to kill him. Speak No Evil. A family is invited to spend the weekend in an idyllic country house, unaware that their dream vacation will soon become a psychological nightmare. In more limited release, we have Dead Money. Professional poker player Andy and his girlfriend Chloe are involved in a crazy 24 hours after a home poker game is robbed, and he ends up playing the largest poker game of his life as both of their lives are in danger. Hereafter, Claire is overjoyed when her daughter, Robin, is miraculously revived after a fatal accident, but her relief turns to dread as Claire notices changes in her daughter, suspecting something dark has followed her back from the brink of death. Matt and Mara. A young professor struggles in her marriage, only to meet Matt, a man from her past who wanders onto her university's campus. Music for Mushrooms. Associate of Ramdas, East Force explores how music and psychedelics can facilitate transformative healing through the blending of shamanistic practices with guided psychedelic experiences. My Old Ass, another movie about mushrooms. A mushroom trip brings free-spirited Elliot face-to-face with her 39-year-old self. But when Elliot's old ass delivers warnings to her younger self, Elliot realizes she has to rethink everything about her family, life, and love. I'm going to try to see a press screening of this later in the week, and if I do, we'll have a review of this one. Subservience follows a struggling father who purchases a domestic sim to help care for his house and family. Unaware, she will gain awareness and turn deadly. Another movie in the vein of Megan, and it actually stars Megan Fox. Trilogy, New Wave. 3 elite surfers travel to 8 remote destinations searching for pristine waves and an escape from the pressures of competition. And finally, Will and Harper. This is a Netflix film, but it's in theaters first on Friday. This intimate portrayal of friendship, transition, and America. Will Ferrell and his close friend of 30 years decide to go on a cross-country road trip to explore a new chapter of their relationship. So that's it for this week. If you want us to cover any of the productions we aren't already covering, comment below, and if we get enough requests, we'll try to work them into our production schedule. And if you found this video useful, be sure to like and share and subscribe to make sure you don't miss our next update, our analysis reviews, or news coverage. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.